Good morning again. If you could make your way to your seats, we are going to proceed with the program. We can get you folks to come on in and grab a seat. Please don't make me call anybody's name out. I'm going to start calling names. Can you please have a seat? Yeah, Shirley Brooks, number 1. Please have a seat. I'm going to start calling names. So good morning again. Ladies, if you could please just find a seat. We're going to get started. We have a long program here this morning. We want to get the information out to everybody. So if you can come in and just grab a seat. If you need to get a cup of coffee before you sit down, that would be appreciative. There'll be some time for networking later, right? Isn't that right, Mr. Baker? That's right. All right. So good morning and welcome to GPC 2014, the State of Procurement, back to the basics, or back to the basics, State of Procurement. Before we get started, first of all, my name is Roger Harris. I am with the Minority Business Development Agency. I'd like to ask Mr. Cleve Baker, who's retired from the United States Army. No, just kidding. I know he's going to be the Air Force. He's going to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you could please stand. Thank you very much. Mr. Baker, how long were you with the Air Force?
23 years.
23 years. And then you worked for the SBA for how long?
21 years.
And how many checks did you get there?
6.
Okay. 6 checks. That's good. All right, there you go, sir.
If we can get all the veterans to come up to the front real quick, we have any veterans in the house, please come up to the front. How about a hand for all the veterans? All the veterans. Thank the veterans. Wow. We got enough for an army here. Come here. Air Force. Okay. Well, you know the reason I like to do this, not because I served, but these people kept the United States safe for a long time, and they still do, even today. So, how about a hand for all the veterans? And thank you so much for coming in here today. And I would ask everybody to say what branch of service we were in, but I think we could do that. Why don't you just tell us what branch of service?
That's Army.
Air Force.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Army. Air Force.
Air Force.
Go Army. Air Force.
Few proud Marines.
Army. Navy.
Marine Corps.
Army. United States Army. And Air Force. We all stand behind the face of the flag, and we're going to all together do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please have a seat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Baker. We know that freedom is not free, right? There is a cost associated with these people, men and women that serve this country honorably, so it's great to be able to start off and honor the American flag and honor the people that serve. So at this point in time, I'd certainly like to ask Dr. Janelle McGrath to come up, who's with Houston Community College, to housekeeping a little bit more. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I see you dressed very well. You got nice little crowd here. What do you do here at HCC?
I'm the director of the Transformation and Innovation Center, and in that division we have the Center for Entrepreneurship.
Well, that's great. So you're going to talk about some housekeeping rules this morning and go over some of the ground rules, right? So go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I am so pleased to welcome you this morning. I am not the official person, however, the president, Dr. Irene Porterella, will be here shortly, and she will give you a very, very hearty welcome. However, I just want to let you know that we're so pleased to host you today, and I know that you're going to have a very, very awesome experience today. You are in the learning hub, and do you like the facilities? Great. Okay, just to let you know that the restrooms are down the hall to the right, okay? But we are here to accommodate whatever you need, just let me know, please. Now, our Center for Entrepreneurship is located in our brand new workforce building, which is across the street. We will be having so many events there. As a matter of fact, we have Port Houston coming next week, and then 2 weeks later, we're going to have Bernard from HISD. So you will be getting some announcements from me to let you know of upcoming events. But at this juncture, I'm going to go ahead and yield the podium back to Roger, okay? And when the president comes, she will greet you. But don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bradford. And at this moment right now, we're going to have a video while waiting for Dr. Bradford that is going to highlight the history of GPC. So if you can roll that video, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Procurement people from the different city departments, put them in one room, and then invite the minority and the women business community to come and meet them, and then they'll have both of those things in one place. And so that's what we did. We started out in one ballroom of the Georgia Urban Convention Center. We had all the city departments, invited the MDE community. They came out and were able to get that information. And so we thought about it and was like, well, gee, we have them all here, so why don't we invite our resource agencies, you know, like the Houston Minority Business Council at that time, and, you know, the SBA and all those organizations that could provide assistance to MDEs. We said, we'll put them out here in the area outside of the ballroom. So the second year, we added the resource agencies. Well, at that time, we had a couple of state senators that were also having hub expos. And so Senator Rodney Ellis's office reached out to us, and in comes the state. So now we've got the city, we've got the resource agencies, and now we have the state agencies. So it's kind of grew a little bit more. Meanwhile, our friend Cleve Baker over at the SBA was doing something very similar by pulling all the federal agencies together. So we merged that, had a big meeting with the Federal Executive Board representatives, and that's where the Navy Government Procurement Connections was formed. And that was the focus, was to have all of the government entities, which also included our quasi-governmental partners, like Metro and the Fort Factor program, and brought them on, bring them all together, and let the small and MWBE companies have access to the decision makers within those agencies. Then, one day, Helen Callier came in the office and she said, you know, since we have all these different government agencies working together, it would be really great to have industry-specific forums, you know, where we can have an IT forum, where all of the IT companies can go and hear about what's happening with the city and Metro and the airport and the different agencies. And so I said, well, that's a great idea. So we brought that in, and that's when GPC became a 2-day event, with the first day being industry-specific forums, and the second day being the And so it just kind of grew from there.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, I'm T.O. Houston, and I am the chair of the HoustonGPC committee, and I have Raylis Edwards, she is the co-chair. And at this time, we'd like to ask Val if she would please come to the stage to accept a special award on behalf of GPC for your leadership and dedication to GPC.
Folks, you can do better.
Those that know me know I don't really need a microphone. But first I want to say thank you so very much. You know, this is such important work that you all are doing. We'll always have a need for government, whether it's municipal, state, or federal. And those are going to be where a lot of dollars are spent. And as taxpayers, you deserve access to that. And these agencies have programs that are specifically geared towards providing opportunities for small, minority, women, and disadvantaged business owners. So it's extremely important that we keep working to make sure that those companies have access to those opportunities, and you as business owners take advantage of all of the opportunities you have here in the city, because there are many people and organizations that are here that are dedicated to your success. Thank you.
Great, thank you very, very much. I want to just, Dr. Bradford was up earlier, and she asked that I ask everybody to look on the table. There's a form, and it says the continuing education enrollment form. If you could please make sure that you just fill out the top part. Is that correct, Dr. Bradford? And just sign it that kind of helps her with her programs here. So please make sure you fill this out. And where do they turn it in? Okay, if you just leave it on the table, she'll pick it up. Okay? Thank you very much. So, if we can have the first presentation up on the screen, we're going to get right into it, back to the basics. I'm going to introduce a good friend of mine, Calvin Wells. He's with the City of Houston. He's the City Purchasing Director of the City of Houston. So please give us a warm welcome for Mr. Calvin Wells. You want to use the mic? I'm good.
Thank you, Roger. All of you who had your hand into putting this together. I'm Calvin Wells, and I'm happy to be here. I'm filling in for Lourdes Cost, who's the new city CPO. Been here for about 6 months now. But we both have a meeting to be in this morning, a must. But we had to come to this, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Thelma has guided me for 16 years in the city of Houston just how to put the business in front of those who need the business. It's all about contracts and contacts. We're not going to be long, but I think I got 2 slides here. Give me the next one. Give me another slide. All right, here we go. Let me give you some tips, and we out here. You can't get business until you register. You agree with that? Register, we have it online. We also have some pamphlets we're leaving here with Roger, so everyone can get one. And all the numbers you need in that pamphlet. But if you don't register, you will never get business. If you register on our system and you put your profile in the registration, whenever business come up in your category, you will automatically receive a notice. Is that good news? It used to be you used to come downtown and look on the wall, and we fixed that. Melvin and I take credit for doing that. All right? Attend the pre-bid conferences. It's online, tell you what room it's in, which room it's in, and also tell you all you need to know about that solicitation. But be there, because someone may want to use you to be on that contract. Or it will give you a great understanding of how you can be the client for that particular contract. Be familiar with our website. If you have any problem with the website, call me, and we will ensure that you will get the message that you need. Contact our personnel in that booklet or online. They're going to give you every number that you need to be successful. That's the contact piece. Participate in all of our opportunities. Slide next. Now here's what you really want to get into. Next slide. I did this. It used to be, it appeared that opportunities was hidden from you. You need to know what's going to happen so you can plan to participate. So what we did, on that same website, we require all of our departments to turn into us what they're going to be doing when the solicitation is anticipated on happening, so we can put it out to you as early as we can. Not in the form of a bid, but you need to see what is going to be happening so you can gear up to be a part of it. Now I know I'm brief, but I'm gonna give you my personal number, 7-832-393-8700. If you don't believe I help you, try that number. And I don't believe anyone in this room has ever told me, Roger, that I didn't hit. So I'm really into assisting you around in the city of Houston. You have people here this morning that are going to explain their operation, and that's good. I'm encouraged to see that, but I want you to know that you have someone that you can call on. Thank you so much, Roger.
Thank you very much, Wells. That was a great presentation. And just to let you know, once we go doing these presentations, please write down your questions, because we're going to have a question and answer time after, so we can get to all the presentations. So as you're listening, write down your questions, and then we'll come back to them. Just a couple of notes. How many people downloaded the app, the mobile app, to learn about GPC? Renice, come on up here just a second, please. This is Renice Edwards, and Renice is the mastermind behind the mobile, not the mastermind, but she knows about it. So just tell them a little bit about the app, just for a second.
So, everyone who has an Android phone, wait a minute. Everyone who has an Apple phone, wait a minute. So just about everybody in the room has an Android, right? So I'm going to ask you right now to go to the app stores and MEAP3, Michael, Edward, Alice, Paul, the number 3. That's where you can find the app for GPC. All of the speakers, you'll be able to find their profiles. You'll also be able to go to their websites and find out about the procurement that we talk about. So, MEAP3. I'm not the mastermind behind this. This is definitely not my area. But my hat's off to the mastermind. But you now have access. You'll also be able to get information about events regarding procurements with those organizations and about procurements. How many of you are downloading the app now? I see some people with their phones going. It's an awesome app. GPC 2014, the game changer. The application that's going to give you information about procurements. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And as we jump right in more into learning about how to do business with another agency, I'll introduce Ms. Karen Franklin, who is with the City of Houston. She's the Special Projects Coordinator. She handles MBE and STE, and she's going to talk about very briefly about how to do business with the City of Houston Housing and Community Development. So please welcome her to the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger. It's great. It's good to be here. Hats off to Tico and the entire team, and clearly those trailblazers who has gone before us. Alma, as well as Mr. Wells, just keeping opportunities before each of you. And I'm here to make sure you know how to get plugged in to federal contracts. Who has done business with our department? By show of hands. So that's letting us know that we have a lot of work to do. Housing and community development is HUD is the largest investor in every community, and we are funded by HUD. We, Housing and Community Development, we have to ensure that jobs are available and all of our procurement is transparent. So all of you who haven't come to learn about our contracts, that's what we're required to do. That's what we're tasked to do. We ensure that every small business, including veterans, are able to be a part of our contracts. Now, our contracts are large and they deal with apartment complex, single-family homes. How many of you heard about the disasters that's been around? The Disaster Act 1, Disaster Act 2. Those are contracts that we have to ensure that we let you know. Economic opportunities. We build community facilities, we do the road work, and we have to ensure that all of our procurement is clear and open. I have my two colleagues here with me in the back. We have Bunny Arita, Tisha Coleman, they're with our purchasing and procurement. And what we do is ensure not only that we have construction, we also have soft costs. How many professional services do we have here in-house? We build, but at the same time, we need vendors and suppliers, and you don't have to be registered or certified with the City of Houston to be a part of our projects. So we're speaking to everyone here. So for those who are a small business, for those who have not considered gaining the federal certification called Section 3, how many Section 3 vendors do we have here? Jess? James? Helen Vicini. So that's telling us that we haven't done all that needs to be done. We have Section 3 applications in the back, and why am I bringing up Section 3? When the current administration came to the table in 2009, they assessed what federal dollars are going to small business. And Section 3 is a program that ensures that small businesses that have that free federal certification is able to go and gain preference with all things equal because of that federal certification. So with our department, get plugged in. Be a part of the procurement process that's available on our website, available on the Houston Chronicle, and equally in the small businesses. You do not want to be left out of all the jobs that are going on with construction as well as professional services. And what I leave with you are the tips for staying engaged with our department. You did one already. You showed up. You're here at GPC, the state of procurement. You showed up so you can be a part of the process. Stay proactive. Put all of the agencies that's here that has procurement in your tool belt and stay ready to be able to present your company, to be able to let each of us know the services that you deliver, and don't stop contacting us. All of our information is available with this presentation. Equally, our business cards are in the back. When we're here from any event that we host, equally for the monthly procurement breakfasts, we need to see you. When we roll out, as all of the agencies do, for all the pre-bids, we need to see you. Because that's when you start fostering those relationships with our prime contractors, and equally, many of you are able to perform in the same capacity. So show up, stay involved, and stay relevant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. When we get to the next presenter, I'd like all business owners to please stand. Everybody that owns a business, please stand up. Everybody owns a business. Everybody owns a business. Everybody owns a business, please stand. So give yourselves a round of applause, number one. The reason why I had you stand up is because I want, don't sit back down just yet. Yeah. Say, don't move. So before you leave, because oftentimes when you are trying to work on a project and you need some help, so pick out a business owner and network with them after the event so you get to know who's in business and who's doing what. Now the folks that are sitting down, why don't you give them a round of applause? Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. So let's get the next presenter, who is Ruben Brown. Where's Ruben? Oh, there he is. Ruben, come on up, please. Ruben Brown, a small business owner as well, but he represents Houston First Corporation, and so he's going to talk about how to do business with Houston First, and Ruben Brown.
Thank you, sir. I think I'll use. Good morning. I am really excited to be here this morning. And equally excited to see so much interest here and so many businesses here. My name is Ruben Brown, as Roger said, and I'm with BWA Diversity Consulting, and I'm here representing Houston First Corporation. Now, I said Houston First Corporation, not Hire Houston First. There is a distinct difference. Hire Houston First is a program that the mayor has put on to ensure that the city does business with local businesses, increases the opportunity for local businesses to be included on solicitations and contracts. Hire Houston First is an independent corporation with their own board, with their own diversity program, that are there for the purpose of operating, managing, facilitating the city's convention and entertainment facilities. I say they're iconic facilities because when I mention any of them, all of you will know who they are. And I doubt that anyone in the room has not visited at least one of them. The Georgia Brown Convention Center, the Hilton Americas Hotel, Worthing Center Theater, Discovery Green, Jones Hall, Jones Plaza, all of the underground parking in the theater. Well, you get the picture. They operate on basically about a $200 million a year budget. They have a diversity program that has a 30% participation goal. So quick math tells you that 30% of $200 million is roughly around $60 million per year that they're proposing to spend with the diversity community. In addition to that, between 2014 this year and through the end and first part of 2016, they will be spending an additional $400 to $450 million on capital improvement projects. Now, for easy math again, 30% of $400 million is roughly around $120 million plus the $60 million, so there's about $200 million in diversity participation that their goal is focused on. If you go to their website, www.houstonfirst.com, select doing business with HF, you'll be able to identify and see all of the solicitations that are presently out. In addition to that, the $200 million that I noted to you earlier, that is a part of their 2014-2015 procurement plan. They spend that much on an annual basis in just operating and maintaining those facilities for the purpose of bringing economic growth to the community for all sectors, which includes everybody in this room. So go to www.houstonfirst.com. You'll be able to select under documents and view their 2014-2015 procurement plan, which identifies when procurements will be coming out for various general operations, facilities and general operations requirements that they'll be looking for. If you have trouble understanding it, you can call me. I'll give you my number before departing here. In addition to that, know that there will be another group of around $100 to $140 million worth of capital improvement projects, which includes a 2,000 car parking garage with additional office space on the top. It includes 2 pedestrian bridges, one coming from the parking garage going to the Marriott Hotel, and one coming from the Marriott Hotel going to the Georgia Brown Convention Center. renovations to Avenue Americas, which is going to make it considerably much more pedestrian friendly. We'll be able to focus on a specific entry point that would be more toward the center of the Georgia Brown, so we don't have to go through the process of going down there and pulling the wrong red door, particularly when there's only one red door to pull, and we always pull the wrong one. We decided they're going to project it to be closer to the Discovery Green, which will bring it more out to the pedestrian area there. It's really going to change the face of that convention district down there on a permanent basis. There will be retail spaces that will be added as well. The first bid package of that effort is out presently. By the way, there will also be a South Transit Center. It's just that when all those buses come down to drop off people going to the conventions, they'll have some place to park and not clutter up that area so it can be more pedestrian friendly. So that first bid package is presently out, which includes excavation, it includes demolition, it includes 2 pedestrian bridges, it includes mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire alarm systems, low voltage wiring, etc. That is posted on HFC's website, www.houstonfirst.com. There is absolutely no reason why you should not be considering Houston First as a resource for growing your business through procurement opportunities. They have a very strong diversity program, 30% annually. They also have $200 million that they spend every year, not to mention the $450 million they're getting ready to spend on capital improvements projects. So the only reason that you should not be doing business with them is that you don't want to do business. Otherwise, you should be considering them just as much a source as you do with Bernard, with HISD, or with the City of Houston, or with TICO, with Metro, etc. There's some great opportunities there, and they are focused on ensuring, based on their diversity policy, and their board is very serious about it, in meeting those participation goals. My number is area code 713-398-9060. If you have trouble understanding that 2014-2015 procurement plan, give me a call and we can go through it on the phone. Pay close attention to the process date. That is the date that they will start to release and start to work on releasing the solicitation for that particular scope of services. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Thank you very much. Well, repeat that one more time, just in case some people did not get it. What's that number again?
1 second. 713-398-9060.
How long have you been working for, doing work for Houston First Corporation?
I think it's probably been about a year and a half now.
How long have you been doing small business?
Probably about 18 years.
And you hear it was a little bit darker back then? But anyway, thank you very much, Ruben. So anyway, our next speaker is Justina Mann. She's with the Houston Airport System. She's the Assistant Director for Procurement and Supply Chain Management. So please welcome Justina Mann.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me in the back? I want to make sure I don't make that echo sound. Okay, good. So my name is Justina Mann, and I am actually new to the Houston area. I'll be making my 1-year anniversary at the end of this year. It's been a great crash course. I want to say that I appreciate being invited to speak here, and I look forward to representing at other events as well to kind of promote what's going on at the Houston Airport System. I do have a couple of my team members here. In the back, if you don't mind standing, Susan Ackerson, who is my division manager for purchasing, Laura Hill, who's also one of the senior procurement specialists, and then I have Al Rayshon in the back as well. And I want to also introduce Eduardo, who is in our Office of Business Opportunity for the Houston Airport System, and they have some information to share as well. I wanted to talk about how to, of course, do business with the Houston Airport System. There's a lot of tips, and Calvin Wells, who spoke earlier, if you register with the City of Houston, then you're registered with the Houston Airport System. So it's very important that you select as many commodity codes that are relevant for the type of business that you do so that you can receive the alerts to tell you when there are opportunities that are relevant based on what you specialize in. I will say that at the Houston Airport System, we support the 3 airport system. A lot of people just think of the 2, which is Intercontinental and Hobby, but there is Ellington, and Ellington is really going to be coming on the map soon, as you know. How many people know that it's going to be designated as a space center in the near future? I'm very excited about that. So there's going to be a lot of activity at Ellington in the very near future. We are, of course, the 4th largest system in the United States and the 6th largest in the world, so we have a lot of activity. Sometimes people, though, have the impression that the airport system might be too big for them to do business, but we actually have a good opportunity for folks who want to be introduced to the airport system to try and do business. Our small purchase threshold, as I call it, is $50,000. So $50,000 is the purchasing authority that the Houston Airport has to be able to engage vendors. And actually, we do have goals for those small purchases. So we usually have 11% for supplies and then 24% for professional services. So even within those small purchase thresholds, we always exceed. I think we're at 21% for this past quarter for minority participation in those small purchase thresholds. And to me, that's a great opportunity for you to be able to get in and get your feet wet and understand the unique environment that is the Houston airport system. We do have something, in some cases, badging requirements depending on the access, and in some cases, increased insurance requirements. But in order to get introduced to that, sometimes you need to come and be active in some of the smaller purchases. But I will say that if you come and get involved in our pre-bid conferences, as Calvin and others have mentioned, then you will be introduced to other subcontractors or primes that may need your services and can help them meet their numbers as well. So there's a couple of ways to get into the Houston airport system to do business. With those small purchases, we average about $11 million. So that's a lot of small purchases that we make. Some of them we do off of interlocal agreements. So I'm not sure how many of you are registered with TexMass and the other DIR and other vehicles that we have in place, but we rely on those in some extent as well. So a lot of people, when you want to get introduced to the Houston airport system, you can rely on those other arrangements that you have or agreements that you have in place to be able to, and you may want to introduce that to us as well. Now, I think it's very important, of course, that you know the procurement folks in the room, and we're here, and we will let you know what opportunities are coming up. But it takes the business units to let us know what their objectives are, what their strategic priorities are, and then we find ways to procure those things, and we recommend the best avenue to make that happen. So if you have something that's new or something that you haven't seen, then when you talk to me, I will say, well, let me connect you with someone from a business unit. But know that you have to land with procurement at the end, so we want you to be familiar with what it takes in order to do business with the Houston airport system. The only thing that for less than $3,000, we just do a bid. I just let people know that in case you have things that you have in your portfolio, like you provide, what are these called? The trinkets, one of my grandmother calls all the good stuff. When we come to the conference and pick up, we buy those for folks, so if you have that, we can purchase those as well, everything to our tablecloth. We have supplies-specific contracts for aviation, and my contracts groups handles that. And that is usually things like airfield lighting, access control, badge, supplies, runway paint, et cetera, et cetera. We have about 39 service contracts for about $188 million. So we have a variety of things. We do work through strategic purchasing, which is Calvin's group for a lot of our bigger purchases, and they are published on the City of Houston's website. And if you go to the app, which I looked at last night, which is great, and you click on my profile, then there's a link to the Houston Airport System website as well, because we post things there that we facilitate through HAS only. Those will be things for our professional services, like our concessions, which we're going to have a huge activity in the very near future for both Bush and Intercontinental. One thing I also wanted to mention today in talking about the Houston airport system is our specification groups, and that's where our construction things come out of, as well as some high-profile O&M projects come. And usually, I want people to anticipate how long this process takes. It usually takes between 6 and 8 months for us to go from advertisement to execution on a contract. And that seems like a long time, but there are a lot of things that we have to do in between. I don't want people to know in advance what kind of ride you're in for before you get in the car. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? So one question that comes up is, well, at what point do I have to register to do business? Well, it's a good time to register in advance. However, you can go through the entire process and you will not, in order to get paid, you have to be registered. But we can still be engaged through the negotiation, evaluation, all of that before you have to be registered. But I encourage you to do it in advance, because then you know what opportunities are upcoming. We have approximately 3 places that we advertise, but actually more than that. We do it on the City of Houston's website, we do it on the Fly to Houston website, and then we advertise in the Business Chronicle. Am I saying that right? Because I have to still get my Houston newspapers. The Business Chronicle and Business Journal. Business Journal is where we advertise both. We're actually trying to do more in those areas, and we're actually looking at opportunities to put our solicitation information on category-specific websites so that people who visit those websites will have an opportunity to see the opportunities at the airport that might not otherwise have access to them. So if you have any suggestions, or if you're interested in finding out what we have coming up, we do have a procurement planning report that we will be posting on our website in the near future. It's a new activity since I've come on board, then we would love to talk to you. And in the meantime, we have a table in the back. One thing that I would like to plug, and this is for Eduardo and my colleague Jason McLemore, is we have a Runway to Business event that is going to be May 8th at the Humble Civic Center. Okay, good. I'm getting my Houston lingo just about right. At the Humble Civic Center, and we will have construction, professional services, and concession opportunities that we talk about. You'll be able to meet a lot of our department figures, as well as other vendors that have done business with the Houston airport system, and you may have an opportunity to kind of work with them as well. So I encourage you to come out to that venue as well. And thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much. Justina, thanks so much for coming in. How do you like Houston so far?
I love the restaurants.
I love the restaurants. And what about the Galleria? Have you been there yet?
Yes, they know me. My face is on the wall. They say, don't let this look like anything else. But I really like Houston, and everybody's very welcoming.
Great. Welcome to Houston. Thank you so much. So, as we continue to introduce the agencies, we've got someone from Harris County, Alfonso Salvador. Did I get that correct? Salvador. Okay, Salvador. Okay. He's going to talk about doing business with Harris County. Please welcome Alfonso.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me? Yes. All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to go ahead and thank the Houston Community College and Metro for spearheading this. It's a great avenue for Harris County to come out here and to share with you some opportunities that we have. And first of all, I'd like to just really say I'm excited to be in this city right now. There's a lot of growth, a lot of vibrant in the city, and just great opportunities right now. As many of you well know, the energy industry is really growing leaps and bounds across the city. And you kind of think, well, with all of that growth in turn spills over to the government agencies. And that's where we're here at Harris County experiencing growth with the toll roads, the flood control, the health, Harris Health. We're seeing a lot of that different growth in the parks, community services, and this is where we hopefully can work with you all so we can have some business together. So with that said, just for some of those people that are new to Houston, Houston is the third largest county. Back in 2010, we had census showing a population of 4,092,459 inhabitants. I'd like to, again, point you to our website. As one of the earlier speakers said, you have to register. Once you go ahead and register, you can go ahead and see what opportunities are out there. We have opportunities as far as different bids. You can click on the different bids and see what's out there. If you want to go ahead and download that bid, you can do so. You will have to go ahead and register. You can look at contract status. Contract status basically tells you these are the contracts that we have currently. It'll tell you when they're about to expire. You can reach out to those buyers. Out at our table, we have handouts for you. You can see the different buyers, the commodities that they handle, and we'd love for you all to participate in that. I'm not going to be too long. I did want to point out we have 3 members from Harris County that are here. I'm going to ask them just to raise their hands so you can see them. Chris Martin, Chris Kaminsky, and Patty Kenyon. We'll be out there in the foyer area. We'd love for you to stop by, shake a hand, give you a business card. Also did want to point out that we do have bid openings every Monday at 2 o'clock. If you want to come out to the 9th floor, if you're new to the whole process and just want to see how it looks, please come out, take a look at it. You can see how we read these bids out loud. There's people that are recording these, this information, and it'll just kind of gradually give you an opportunity to just see the process. One thing I do have to point out, that is bids are due at 2 p.m. We don't take anything after that, so please be on time. And again, thank you very much, and all the best for you and your company.
Thank you, Alfonso. Thank you very much. So, just to ask a question, in terms of small business participation, I know your county doesn't really have a PPE program, but let's just say somebody in the audience didn't have a chance to speak with you or the other folks. Is there an opportunity for them to come and talk about what they do with any one of the buyers? Do you guys do that at all?
Absolutely. We do talk with small minority women-owned businesses. We'll be glad to visit with you, learn what commodities we have to offer, and how we can possibly work together. So, absolutely.
What kind of money does the county spend? Any idea how much money you guys spend on an annual basis? If it's too large of a number, I get that. I understand you spend a couple billion.
I want to say it is in that neighborhood.
Okay, great. Well, some folks here from the county, thanks Alfonso for coming up, and hopefully we'll get some success stories, right? So, to keep things moving, no pun intended, we've got Metro, Mary Rose, who's a procurement person. Please welcome her, and she's going to talk about procurement question.
Well, I'm glad to see so many people here today. How many of you are registered on Metro's procurement website? Please hold your hands up. Oh, good, this is wonderful. We have, back at our table, this is 6 months look ahead for procurement. This is everything we anticipate to the end of September. Then we start our new year. There are some very interesting things on here, so I would encourage you to stop by that table. Sharonda's holding up things, and pick this up. It tells you basically what the procurement is going to be, if it's going to be an invitation for bid, request for proposal, or request for qualifications. Anticipated advertisement date, and it tells you the anticipated small business goal. Most of you, I'm sorry, and it also gives you kind of a description of what it is. So I would encourage you to stop by, pick that up. I'm going to only talk to you, because you can pick this up and read the rest of it. Everything procurement is going to solicit, it goes out on our procurement website. We do not mail packages. You can go into this website, you can go and select everything you can do. And then, when anything comes up, you will receive an email. You can read it, you can download the solicitation. If it's something you don't think you want to do, you can ignore it. Please come to the pre-bid, pre-proposal conferences. That's where you're going to meet potential primes, or you could even be the potential prime. We have a couple of solicitations I want to tell you about. We have how many of you know what MetroLift is? Anybody? It's our paratransit service. And we are getting ready to put a solicitation out. It's one of the largest contracts at Metro outside of the rail. And I would encourage you to come to the pre-bid conference. TICO will be having a small business vendor fair where you can come and meet the potential primes. You'll have an opportunity to sell yourself. So be sure that you do participate in that. The next one after that will be, it's comparable, but it's a little different. That is we call it the minivan service. It is paratransit service, but the contractor buys the vehicles. Again, both of these have probably 20 or in excess of 20 small business subcontractors. So be sure if you can do anything to help these contractors, please participate. We buy everything at Metro. We buy rail cars. We buy buses. We buy paratransit vans. We buy vehicles. We even buy office supplies. Anything that Metro needs is bought through us. For agencies that are here, the City of Houston and Metro, for several years have been putting in their contracts about you can piggyback on our contracts. We have fuel. Metro buys the largest amount of diesel. City of Houston, the largest amount of gasoline. So you have the ability to piggyback off those contracts. And any other thing, we put that article in our contract so that other agencies can use those contracts. I will be here, so if you have any questions. Oh, if you need help registering, I'll give you my number, direct number, 713-739-4868. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Rose, before you go, can you just give us that number? I think some people are trying to write it down, so they might want to write it again.
713-739-4868.
Great, thank you. Now, wait. I know you were trying to get to the next stop. About small business, did you mention, you talk about the goal of the contract, what percentage? Do you cover that? Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
It's right here, it tells you exactly what's in it.
So Metro is very big on small business participation. Great. Okay. She told me, didn't she? Thank you very much. So, as we continue to move on, we're going to hear from the folks from HISD, and they're going to teach us a lesson about doing business with Houston Independent School District. So, Roberto, Carl, would you please come up and everyone take out your pens and your papers and get ready to take a test. Because the school district is about to come and school us on doing business with HISD. Thanks. Give a welcome to the business.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm honored to be here as well. I want to thank Bernard Willingham for inviting me here for this session. For us, it's very important to really reach out to the community. I have heard certain comments in our tables, and she said, you are the institution that is not doing business with us. And I think that this is something that is going to change, and it's changing, and as you all know, it's changing year after year. And I think that one of the things that I want to share with you all is some of the changes that we're making in procurement and also in connection with the Business Assistant Office, which is led by Bernard Willingham. I want to also acknowledge two of my colleagues here. I have Robert Kasakarli, who is the procurement manager that handles some of the categories. And we have Elvis Elam also that is working here with other of the categories that we handle here. The presentation that we're going to show you is kind of like walk you through the process that we have changed right now how we do business. We used to have different people that was handling, for example, the bidding process and also doing the purchasing part. What we felt that it was important to concentrate our efforts in teams that were doing the sourcing process and then the team that was going to actually do the buying part of those contracts. As you can see, the first two columns is the two managers that are here, and they will be able to help you with their team to achieve any goal that you want in terms of participating with HISD. The rest of the team, as you can see, we have the buying team. We always get questions on terms of how much business can we do with HISD if we, for example, spend less than $50,000. The buying team will be able to guide you as well for us to be able to purchase from you. We use a lot of the cooperative, like BB, TexMax, TCPN, and we're always trying to achieve a partnership with any business that is working with those institutions. This is just a glance of some of the things that we're doing to really reach out to you, okay? If we go to the next slide, Bob's team, we call him Bob, so Robert, and you can see he does general supplies and services, instructional classroom supplies, technology equipment and services, and all the elements we have, all the other categories, transportation, warehousing, the bond programs, cafeteria and food services. And also then we have the buying team that what they do is actually create all the shopping carts that the business require. This is for us is very important because there are some comments that whenever we do a sourcing process, the execution of the process is always within procurement. So we guarantee that whatever is negotiated, whatever is awarded, it goes to the vendor that was awarded to that business. If we go to the next slide, and these two slides I'm going to go very quickly. This is the change of the process, this is strategic sourcing. I'm sure all the procurement colleagues that are here are using this, but this is something that we are implementing in HISD. If we go to the next slide, I want to emphasize on the importance of the steps. We want to reach out to you, and we want to make sure that if you register, and we're going to talk about that in my last slide, we are going to be reaching out to you. I want to click in the link, and I want to do it interactive because if we go there, let's see if it works. There are always questions. What are the projects that we have available? When is the project going to take place? And then if you go down on the left-hand side, on the bottom, project calendar. If you click there, you will be able to see all the projects that we have available. Okay? And what is important is that you will know the buyer or the sourcing specialist that is going to be handling that, and you have the project name, and if you go up, you have the month where it's going to be done, and then if you're going up, then you have the first renewal, the second renewal, and then when it's go up for new bids. This is available for all of you, and if you have questions, that's why the org chart is there for you to be able to reach out to the person that is actually handling that particular bid. If we go back on the website, we want to make sure that you are also you register into the website. And right now, what we are doing is that if you register to do business with HISD, we're doing the same thing that the first speaker was doing. We're trying to really create a database where it's connected to the categories that your company is going to be offering in those business. And then every time that a bid is coming, we're going to be sending you emails also informing you that those categories are up for renewal. So it's very important that you go to our system and you register on that. If you go down, you say prospective supplier registration form. So you can see there on the bottom, quick links, under quick links, there you go. So if you go there, then you will be able to access the information. And if you go down, we want to make sure that you have, we have all the different categories there available for you to access, what categories you can offer to our district. Okay? We also, I'm sure that some of you are working with our bond program, and I think that we're reaching excellent results on that area. 51% of the professional services are committed to minority business and women-owned businesses. Our commitment for CM&Rs is between 20 to 40%, and that's something that we are actually achieving right now. And for the rest of the categories, the board policy is that we need to achieve at least 20%, and we are working very hard to get to that point. And that's why we're here. I think that we have changed some of the information that we put in our RFP to make sure that we receive the information correctly from the vendors, and then we can actually determine if they are actually qualified as a minority business. For us, and this is very unique, we accept only 3 different certifications, which is the City of Houston, the Houston Minority Supply Development Council, and the Women's Business Enterprise Alliance. Those are the only 3 that the Houston Independent School District accepts. Bernard is in the back as well, that will help us, or will help you all to achieve those certifications. So that will be recognized by Houston ISD. So we are excited. We think that we're going in the right direction. We're hoping that in the next forums we can hear more comments about the categories that all the minority businesses are able to achieve with HISD.
Thank you very much, Mr. Now, just a question for you. Now, how long have you been with HIC? Come on out front, don't be scared. I'm not gonna lie.
7 months.
Oh, 7 months. So, Justina, you can don't tease them, okay? Don't beat them up. So, now you've been here 7 months. So we don't know that you're really serious about doing business, small businesses, criminal businesses, right? Definitely. I want to hold you to that, right?
Definitely.
Okay. Don't come looking for you now.
That's not a problem.
All right. You heard that, right? All these folk here. All right.
Thank you.
We got you back, Bernard. Thank you very much, sir. Get up to the new guy. Come on. Make him feel at home. Don't sock him in the eye before he goes. Don't beat him up. Don't beat him up. Priscilla, come on up, please. So we heard from a lot of agencies. Now we're going to hear from the Port of Houston. So Priscilla Burrows, who is the certification specialist with the Port of Houston the Small Business Development Program. Give her a round of applause, please.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. Can we go to the next slide, please? We'll get through this with everyone. And the next one. I want to give you a bit, first of all, everything that every agency has said applies to us too. Get registered in our database, make sure you attend the pre-proposal meetings, and make sure all the NAICS codes that apply to your firm are in your profile. I wanted to just review a little bit about what our program is all about. We have a small business program that applies for 35% goal for projects that are over $50,000. We have just instituted a new procurement policy that states that if you are a small business and the project is under $50,000, if you're within 10% of the lowest bid, it's going to go to the small business. We also have instituted a local preference program, and it says that if you were 5% of the lowest price, it will go to you. Now, local preference does not mean you have to be a small business. That means any business that's within the 8 counties surrounding Houston, Texas. So you have a little advantage with our new local preference in our small business for under 50,000. Over 50,000, we have a 35% aggressive goal for most construction projects. That means that the prime contractor is trying to fulfill that 35% goal with small businesses. It is a race and gender neutral, and as you can see, it is limited to those counties up there. Would you go to the next slide, please? We just covered the goal-oriented program. I wanted to give you a little bit of numbers. Since inception, May 2002, 43%, or $402 million, has been awarded to small businesses in our program. We have $101 million of that went to small business primes. Our goal, our emphasis here is to help sustain and grow your business. And we do that in a variety of ways. As you can see, we have a training and development program, and we are running Port University right now. We used to just limit it to our small businesses, but we have thrown it wide open to any company that wants to come in and learn in more detail about our procurement process. It's a 4-week course, 2 hours every Wednesday for about 4 weeks. You're more than welcome to go by my table, pick up the brochure about our program. It has all the contacts on the back, including mine and Pedro Gonzalez, who runs that Port University. If you are a member of a local chamber, throughout the year we have one-on-one sessions with our vendors. You set up an appointment through the chamber. We're at the chamber office all day long. We'll sit there, you pitch your company, we give you contacts, we give you our Port Authority phone book, anything that you need to start making and establishing those contacts within the Port Authority. Right now, we have about 1,100 firms in our program. We hope to gain more. One of the things I want to emphasize is that we are not a certifying agency. The Port Authority is relying on all those agencies out there that are doing a stand-up wonderful job, such as Metro, City of Houston, Houston Minority Supplier Development Council, and Women's Business Enterprise Alliance, and the SBA 8A program. We accept all those certifications. And so long as you're a small business, we do accept those minority and gender-owned certifications. This is how you, next slide, register in our database. The instructions are in a brochure on the back table. We have a lot of information back there, by the way. You need to stop by the booth and pick up the brochure, the current projects, the capital projects for the coming year, the boat ride. Everybody likes the boat ride, and it's free. So you need to pick up that little postcard. This is how you do it. Register, get certified with one of the agencies, and then turn in our little one-page application affidavit form that says, yes, I am a small business, which Reed does what you already did. One more page, please. And this is what we buy. Everything. That's not an all-inclusive, but if you go to the website every day, those bid and proposal notices are posted every day. They change every day. I've seen things like flat screen TVs, hardware items. We have entire contracts. There's everything out there. A lot of promo items. We give a lot of giveaways. So there's a lot of things for the small business to get involved in, as well as large corporations also. We have questions later, and hopefully that, I never know how to end these things. Thank you. Take it back.
So, let's show you, that was great. Come on out, come on out. So, excuse me, I'd like to just ask you a question. That's okay. How long have you been with the Port of Houston?
Close to 8 years.
8 years, and over the period of time, has the Port's really developed this program with small businesses, seen a lot of successes with small business owners?
Absolutely, absolutely.
How many people are doing business with the Port of Houston? Even in our audience right now, doing business with the Port of Houston, some, so great. So, we certainly thank you for coming, and you'll be out in the area in the back and answer questions. Okay, great. Thanks again. So, Bob Payne is with SATOP. I call it SATOP. It's the Space, Alliance, Technology, Outreach Program. And that's Bay Area, right? Something like that. I just like to call it SATOP, right? SATOP. So, welcome to the guy from SATOP. He's a smart guy.
Thank you very much. I want to first thank the organizers of the event today, Metro in particular, and Tico especially. I don't know, she put up with a lot of us in the room here, I think, getting us all registered, the exhibitors and so on, so thank you. And the City of Houston for the contributions to the program, and especially Houston Community College for providing this nice facility. Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program is a program within a nonprofit organization. My parent organization is actually the Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership. We're located down in the Clear Lake area, right near the Johnson Space Center. The SATOP is a state-funded program funded through the Higher Education Program. It provides a grant to my parent organization to work with NASA and the NASA aerospace community to transfer technology and knowledge in the space program into the private sector for the purpose of having an economic impact, creating jobs, capital investment. So how does that happen? We have a partnership with the Johnson Space Center, aerospace companies like Lockheed Martin, like the Boeing Company, Wiley Engineering, and 8 or 9 others, and along with 2 of the community colleges in the area that allow their engineers to work and volunteer to work with small business owners that are attempting to get a new product or maybe an improved product out into the market. and the business owner or the inventor, as it may be in some cases, has experienced a challenge with completing the design or identifying the right material. Well, the business owner can go to our website and apply, make an application for a engineer to work with them to solve this problem. And what we like to say that we like to work on problems that takes a rocket scientist to actually come up with a solution, because more than likely we do have someone in the program who can provide that solution, almost always. The business owner is matched up with the engineer, and we, myself and others in my program, just simply monitor the work of the engineer working with the business owner. We keep the bureaucracy out of it. It's a very clean process. We ask that the business trying to get a new product on the market, that you actually have a patent or a provisional patent or maybe even a prototype, or we'll even accept a good engineering drawing. What we can't do, there's a couple of things we can't do. We can't take an idea that you have and do a design. We also don't work on information technology or IT projects. We don't work on software. And the reason for that is that I always like to say you never solve an IT problem anyway, so we're not going to take those on, forget that. But actually the base reason is there are too many small businesses in the community that work software, work IT. We like to take on a problem that really does take a rocket scientist to solve. We work with a lot of micro businesses that can't afford the huge fees that a big design company would charge to solve a problem. These engineers and faculty members at these colleges volunteer their time for free. We have a website. I have at the table in the back of the room a brochure and a flyer with my telephone number and the website. You may not be taking a product to market, but you probably do know someone. I know that a lot of inventors I've worked with at the Houston Inventors Association, they've either been in this audience at the GPC or one of their colleagues has been here. So I've had a lot of referrals that way. So if you will, if you have a friend or an associate that may need our help, please give us a call. And as I mentioned, my parent organization is involved in this program for the very base reason is that when we help a small business get a product to market and they're successful, they're likely going to do a couple of things. One, hire people, create jobs. That's what that parent organization of mine is all about, working with businesses and governments in the region to help grow the region, create jobs, capital investment, facility expansion. So with that, I will say that the website, if you will take the time to go to it, you'll see a lot of our success stories. We work with about 600 businesses in the Houston region over the 12 to 15 years that we've had the program going. And you'll also can see profiles of the types of engineers that volunteer their time to work on problems for small business owners. So thank you very much, and I'll see you at the table.
Thanks. Now, before we go, can you recall any one concept or idea that came before you that you could share with us really quickly that was really interesting? Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
You sure?
I certainly can. One of the inventors small business owners that work with us, I think actually found out about the program through GPC, James Carmouche. Some of you may know James. As I recall, James was telling the story, he had a contract with the city of Houston when the new rail system was going in, and he had made a bunch of concrete along the railroad track, and then he had the boards laid on each side of the contract, the concrete, and he had to get paid because he was going to make payroll on Friday. This is like late in the week before or over the weekend. And I think the city said, you're not going to get paid if you get all the boards up. And so James stayed up all night long trying to figure out how he and a few people could pull up maybe a mile of boards and get payroll made or get an invoice to the city and get paid. So he generated up a tool that would allow him and his workers to pull the boards rapidly with a levered device. Well, he built a prototype, built 2 or 3 of them for DH crew. And then an associate did it, said, you know, that's pretty big, you need to go out and patent this. So he took his design, and then the first thing he ran into in the manufacturing process is that they started asking, well, how solid is the structure? Have you done structural analysis? So he came to our program, and we matched him with a professor who did just that, did structural analysis of his tool, and looked at the weldments on the tool, made recommendations on the kind of aluminum that he was going to use to reduce the weight, improve the weld points, and also to validate the structural integrity of the device. Well, he's been working at Centerpoint, and I think James is making a little bit of money right now selling this device. So he's a big success story. And he's a big advocate of the program, too. I really like James. That's good.
And how much is your program again? How much is that program again?
It's very free.
Very free. I like very free.
Yes, indeed.
Good.
The only expense is making a phone call or going on the website, spending the time to register your business for possibly getting help.
You know, I think that's the one four-letter word we all like to hear, right? It's free. So great, thanks, Bob. So as we continue along, we're going to have Lisa Maldonado, who's with the Department of Information Resources. Did I say that right? Not Durham, right? Not Durham. All right. So Lisa's with she's the certified purchaser and contracts manager with the Department of Information Resources. And folks, you're in technology. You need to really pay attention to what Lisa got to say. Is that right, Lisa?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? I know so. Give it up to Lisa.
Hi. My name is Lisa Maldonado. I'm with Texas Department of Information and Resources. We are the technology agency for the state of Texas. I'm here with my colleague, Lynn Sanchez, right here. We stole her from the comptroller's office in the summer, so welcome, Lynn. And so I came to the HUB program last January. They found out I used to do a HUB program for another state agency. So we have a strong support from our executive staff and from our board members. So what Lynn and I we have come down to the table and said, okay, how can we make this program stronger? And how can we make our presentations? We're here to do business. We're here to get down to the business. So actually, with our agency, we set up these contracts with the state of Texas. They're all technology contracts. And with these contracts, state agencies are mandated to utilize our contracts. But our biggest customers are our volunteer customers, like the universities, the counties, the cities. Those are volunteer customers. We also have interlocal contracts with contracts outside of the state of Texas. So all of our, sometimes when you go to these events, you'll always hear, you need to talk to DIR, you need to talk to DIR, you need to get on their list. Well, we don't have a list, okay? We don't have a registration. You have to go through a competitive bidding process when the opportunity is out there. What we do is we have an internal program and we have an external program at DIR. All of our contracts, like I stated, they do go through the competitive bidding process, and once they're awarded, they are given a DIR contract number, and we post those on our website at DIR. So the customers can actually issue the purchase order directly to that vendor, and these are all the RFPs, through the RFP process. And at our table, we have how to get on the DIR list. It's not really a list, it's a competitive bidding process, and it'll show you the slideshows for each page. Our information is on the back. And also too is we just created a new brochure and like keys to success. You know, there's opportunities like the Central Masters Bidders List, the HUB directory. These are other feathers in your hat, so give you opportunities to, for these RFOs that we have out there. Also too, sorry. Also too, at DIR, we're going to have an event at May 29th in Austin, and it's called DR Connect. This event is already sold out for exhibits. The reason it's such a high attendance, and the reason I'm telling you this, is because this is the first time that we're going to actually let HUB vendors and small businesses come in without having a DR contract with our agency. And it's only $50. It's at the Palmer Auditorium Center. And, but here's the catch. Only one person from the company can attend the event. We're going to be doing roundtables. You get the opportunity, you're not paying the $2,000, you're only paying $50, which is a really good thing. The only thing is you're not having the exhibit. This is an opportunity for you to come to meet with the buyers and the contract managers and all the IT directors. This event is sold out because it's given to our customers for free, okay? So this is the time for you to come and network with them. When you do, I want to go back to the RFO process. On the RFO process, always ask questions, and always network, okay? There's a lot of information out there. Every agency has their own procurement process, but always ask questions. And always feel free to give Lynn and I a call, because we do get a lot of questions from other agencies. So again, our information is at our table, how to become a DR vendor, and also our page. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Before you go, I have to ask you a question. Are you nervous? I couldn't tell. So this event on May 29th, how many buyers are going to be there? Estimates?
There's 254 state agencies.
254 state agencies. So this should be a wonderful opportunity for folks in technology to come down and network and get some business. Is that right?
Correct. Not just technology. We also buy office supplies, promotional items. There's a lot of opportunities.
Okay, so that day was May 29th?
29th.
And so they can become an exhibitor, right? So people can come for free, correct?
$50.
Oh, $50. I thought, like, Bob said free. I thought that was going to carry over. No, $50. Okay. All right. Okay, thanks, Lisa. Get up, Lisa. So a program that's similar is the Texas and Texas Multiple Award Schedule. Mr. Richard San Jose is the program coordinator with Texas. And he's going to come talk about the cooperative purchasing program in the state of Texas. So, take it away, sir. You can give him a round of applause. You can. It's okay.
Hello, my name is Richard San Jose, and I'm the TexMass program coordinator. Next slide, please. And before I start, I have to tell you a joke. Why did Beethoven sell all his chickens? Because they were saying, bop, bop, bop. Okay. Okay, so there's the agenda, as you see. What is TexMass? Texas statutes, TexMass vendor pricing. You can read the rest. Okay. Next slide, please. What is TexMass? As you see, May 21st, 2002, the Texas Building and Procurement Commission, TBPC, established TexMass as an alternative purchasing method. We sell to the buyers are from all of these state agencies, 1960, actually 1961 as of yesterday, cooperative purchasing program members, and over 474 TexMass transactions took place daily during fiscal year 2013. That's generating over $390 million in sales. And we take a TexMass sales rebate of 0.73875%, just less than 0.75%. That means that approximately $3 million went to the general revenue fund. What are the co-ops? The local government entities, cities, counties, hospital districts, etc. Next slide, please. Okay, currently we have 565 TexMass contractors with 651 contracts, over 1,300 dealers, and 29 schedules. What are schedules? Schedules are just categories, such as floor covering, furniture, environmental services, things like that. Currently, GSA, you'll hear me mention GSA a lot. GSA, General Services Administration, has 36 schedules. However, all we have is 29, but we could have 30 tomorrow if we get a different type of schedule, different type of contract. Next slide, please. Any changes made to the contractor's GSA contract, that actually affects their TexMass contract, because a TexMass contract just merely attempts to mirror that GSA contract. So when a GSA contract has a price list change or a contract extension or a renewal, those things actually happen to their TexMass contract in the background. They just have to let us know that, otherwise we're not going to know, okay? The GSA contract is supplemented by 17-page TexMass terms and conditions, which are designed to protect the state of Texas. Next slide, please. Okay. These are previously awarded competitive contracts, federal, state, or local government entities. Currently, I only know of about 15 states. There might be more that have multiple award schedules, such as, besides Texas, California, Ohio, Virginia, Florida, Kentucky, and I think Missouri, just to name a few. We currently have contracts other than GSA, although of the 651 contracts we have, 99% of them are based off GSA contracts, which means 1% are not. And those are based on DLA contracts, Defense Logistics Agency, Western States Contracting Alliance, Army Corps of Engineers. We even have a few that are state contracts, like the Michelin contract is based off of a state of Kansas contract. Sell all kinds of products on TexMass. Whatever you can think of, it's probably on there, from fire suppression systems to paint to floor coverings to, like I said before, environmental services. Next slide, please. Texas statutes, Texas Government Code 2155.502 authorized the commission to actually come up with this schedule type contract. Okay. In September 1st, 2007, TDPC, Texas Building and Procurement Commission, went away. The building portion became Texas Facilities Commission, and the procurement portion went to the Comptroller's Office. All right. At that same time, actually the day before, I gave 101 TexMass contracts that were all information technology contracts to DIR. And TexMass contracts will have, obviously, like any other contract, have a number in it. So say TexMass dash something dash whatever. Well, that dash whatever, if it says 700, it's a TexMass contract. It's just not with the Comptroller's Office. It's one of the 6 TexMass contracts that are at DIR. Next slide, please. Okay, Texas Government Code 2155.504. When a state agency or a co-op uses this contract, well, they're fully authorized to. I'm going to read the underlined area. A purchase authorized by this section satisfies any requirement of state law relating to competitive bids or proposals. So I like to use a dartboard analogy. Let's say you wanted to buy chairs on TexMass, and there were 20 companies that sold chairs on TexMass. You could literally take a dartboard and put those 20 companies on that dartboard, and you could throw a dart, and wherever it landed, you'd be fully authorized to buy from them. Would that be a wise decision? Probably not, but you could buy from them. You're fully authorized to. Okay, the maximum price, as it mentions, maximum price is, it is the maximum price, but it isn't, and I'll get into that in the next slide, please. Next slide. Let's stop right there. Okay, and I'll just stop. Okay, the reason I said it's not really the maximum price is because we have a thing called Texas Smart Buy, okay? It's an online shopping cart. And because of that, we have to charge an additional, or we authorize the contractors to charge an additional up to 1.5228%. So if a table on GSA Advantage costs $100, that same contractor could charge $101.52 for the exact same table, again, to pay for Texas Smart Buy. So although it's a maximum price, you can see there's room for a little bit more there. Okay, and where's, like I said, that goes to Texas Smart Buy to help pay for it. Okay. CPA site search, how to find TexMass. What we do is go ahead and go to the next slide, please. We go to the GSA, the Comptroller's website, which you can either type in window.state.tx.us or cpa.state.tx.us. And in the upper right-hand corner, you see a site search. You can either type in TexMass or TexMass Program, or under the T of Government at the top of the page, you'll see a tab that says State Purchasing. If you click on that, next slide, please, you'll come to this page, State Purchasing. If you look on the left side, the bottom of your screen, bottom left of the screen down here, you'll see Texas Multiple Award Schedules, TexMass. Okay, click on that. Next slide, please. And it brings you to the TexMass Program page. Bold black letters, okay? Next slide, please. And next slide, keywords. Near the bottom of the page, you'll see Search TexMass Contracts. That's where you actually want to search, not in the upper right-hand corner, because the one on the bottom, that searches TexMass only, okay? You can put in a keyword, key phrase. Next slide, please. Okay. I'm sorry, go back one. Right above that little search box at the bottom, it says text mass contracts by schedule. And in the upper left-hand area, under resources, it says text mass contracts by schedule, both the same link. Click on that, next slide please, and it brings you to this page right here. These are all the different schedules that we have. Pages obviously cut off short, but we have 29 of them. These are different schedules, again, different categories. If we click on one of them, like the 23V, which would be the second from the top for automotive, just as an example. Next slide, please. This is what we would see. All pages are similar to this. This is totally generic. You would start to see all the companies. It might be 2 companies, it might be 200 companies, whatever. Especially if it's furniture, which has 150 text mass contractors, okay? But you see all the companies that are listed, you see their contract number, point of contact, all that good stuff. If you wanted to see what was behind that, you would click on the contract number. Next slide, please. That's my information. And the last slide, do not go to it, just says questions. Thank you.
A lot of information, Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to have you come back and break it down, because my head's still spinning, but you did a great job. Great. So, thank you for mentioning, so I'm sure when people have questions now, for our small business in the HUB program, that's just a great entryway for folks to get on the text mass schedule through someone who they can piggyback or they can be with someone on the contract, correct?
Correct. As long as they have a federal, state, or local government contract that's current, we could be happy to talk to them. If they've done something in the past, yeah, we just finished a job with University of Houston. That's not going to work. You need an existing contract.
Existing contract.
Exactly.
Okay. We'll have some more questions for you later. Thank you very much. So, just as before you came in, we first made this announcement about this continuing education enrollment form. You just came in. It's important at the table. Please make sure you fill this out and leave it on the table before you go. Please fill this out. I've just been told if you don't fill this out, I gotta go back and I'm being told by Ray Neese about the mobile app. So let's keep going and let's bring up Paul Gibson, who's with the state of Texas, the HUB program, and he's going to talk all about that. Please welcome Mr. Gibson.
All right, good afternoon. We're getting close to lunch. I'll be quick as I can. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. You know I can get long-winded.
Yeah, I love you too, brother.
All right. Paul Gibson, as you mentioned, with the Comptroller of Public Accounts. A couple things I'd like to mention starting off. In Irving, Texas, on May 12th, businesses, you have an opportunity to get out and go for spot bids. Right now, I believe we have 60 or so agencies registered who will be on site and have bid opportunities for you to bid on. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's going to be at the Irving Convention Center, May 12th and May 13th. Also, we have a save the date that we will host an event in Austin, Texas at the Renaissance Hotel, ladies. That's part of the planning committee who stole Ms. Sanchez from us at the conference, okay? But we'll have an opportunity for you network with agencies there as well. Everything I'm going to touch on in this PowerPoint, I have a number of slides I'm going to be going through. I'm going to be talking fast. I'll try to slow down here and there. But you will find it in the brochure that's out on our table, okay? If you would, next slide, please. How many are HUB certified currently by show of hands? Okay, how many of you are registered on the CMBO? All right, so we've got work to do. All right, I'm going to touch on some numbers. But basically, we certify minority and women-owned businesses. And as of September 1, our service-disabled veteran businesses are also part of that program as well. So what is a HUB? Just what I mentioned. But those individuals have to have at least 51% ownership, actively participate in the company, have the managerial operational control of the company, be a for-profit entity, and reside in Texas. We have certification agreements with 11 entities because we want to make that process as simple as possible for you. And that is a list. Oh, I'm sorry, please advance. A couple more slides. Forgive me, I'm down here punching my button. A couple more. There we go, all right. So we have the 11 certification agreements that we have with the entities here. So if you are certified with one of these, that gives you an opportunity to have your information submitted to us, and we automatically get you certified as a HUB. Typically, when you come to us directly, we certify you for a term of 4 years. If you go through one of these other entities, that term could be anywhere from 1 year to 4 years. It's going to coincide with their certification term. Next slide, please. We also place you into our hub directory, and state agencies will use that hub directory. We also tell prime contractors to use that directory to search for hub vendors if they have subcontracting opportunities. And it basically increases your exposure to the general public as well as state agencies. Next slide, please. Basically, as Richard mentioned, you go to Window on State Government and click on the State Purchasing tab, and over to the right you will find a button to register for CMBO and or HUB. CMBO, Centralized Master Bidders List. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is some figures basically on the number of vendors that we currently have certified, which is approximately 13,600, and only 3,100 are registered on the Centralized Master Bidders List. The reason why I'm pointing that out and emphasizing that, agencies are required to use the CMBO to search for vendors, okay? If I can get that other 75% or so of the hubs on CMBO, yes, it increased competition, but guess what? You're in that pool to get those solicitations, okay? Basically, our outreach activities include what you see there, who our target audience is as well. Next slide, please. And the agencies, when they're going out searching for hub participation, we're required by law, and we have statewide goals that you see there for heavy construction, building construction, special trade, so forth. Those are goals collectively that the state is going to try to achieve throughout the year. And agencies, depending on their procurement, their goals may be higher or it could be lower than that. But typically when they go out to bid, they're going to go for the higher of the two goals. Okay, next please. We recently, and just on, actually it got up on the web yesterday, our semi-annual HUB report. And basically from August to February, we posted how the state has done thus far. But back in 2013, you can see that the state has spent over $14.6 billion and $1.9 billion with HUBs. Midway through this fiscal year, we spent $7.8 billion total and a little over $1 billion with HUBs. So hopefully we'll be on the mark to at least achieve over $2 billion spending with HUB this year. And I do want to point out, you'll see that for our fiscal year 2013, in our subcontracting efforts alone, over $747 million was spent with HUBs through subcontracting efforts. Next, please. I touched on the CMBO. It's like the Yellow Pages. Next slide. It's like the Yellow Page directory. Now, we're not certifying the vendor's capabilities, however we are. The vendors do register on that with a $70 annual fee. And basically, they create a vendor profile. They put in what we refer to as class and item codes that depicts the type of goods or services that you have to offer. And there was a vendor that I met with at Mr. Snell's event and several other agencies at the state capitol last week. And we were trying to figure out what was wrong with his profile and why he wasn't getting bids. Well, keep in mind that the commodity codes for the state of Texas, anything below 900 are goods. Once you hit 900 and above, you're dealing with services. Well, he was a fabricator. So, yes, he fabricated shelves, what have you, but yet he had them in there as a commodity. It's not so much that he's selling them, he needs the specifications to build them. So he needed a service-oriented type commodity code. So I can't stress that enough. You have to ensure that your profile is accurate and up to date. That's the only way the agencies are going to get a hold of you, as well as the prime contractors. Okay, next slide, please. So real quickly, our CMBL search is defaulted to vendors who have paid to be on that. And when this, sorry that went so fast, but we're searching for fountain pens, just to give you an idea. So through that search, we came up with 104 vendors, and I believe on this it says 72 of those were HUBs. If you would advance that, please. So now we're looking for HUBs who decided not to pay that fee. Same parameter, fountain pens. Next slide, please. So we came up with 66 more vendors. But again, as a state agency, I only have to search CMBO. I don't have to go through the other exercise and search for other HUBs or what have you. I found enough in the first search. So I can't stress it enough. If you're not on CMBO, please consider to do so. Next slide. And again, our page will get you there over to the right-hand side. You'll find a gold button to do that, to update your profile as well. Next. For those that aren't registered, you must have a federal EIN number. Ensure that you first view our commodity code book and identify all your Class 90 codes that you're going to have in your profile. Next. And next slide. And that's pretty much on CMBL. To search for bid opportunities, we have the Electronic State Business Daily. How many of you been out there for that? Okay. Well, anything that the agencies have, solicitations over $25,000, they're required to post on our ESBD, Electronic State Business Daily. And typically it may range from anywhere from 14 to 21 days that those opportunities will be out there. Next slide. And you can go out there, there's a link that may be difficult to see, but basically it says newest postings, or you can enter in specific class and item code. Next. And on this one, we're going to take a look at opportunity that was out there for liquefied petroleum. Next. And basically it's going to give you the contact, i.e. the purchaser for that opportunity. It's going to have, when you see up top, the red arrow, the packet or packages. Basically that is your bid solicitation or any addendums. Make sure you cross the T's, dot the I's, sign it, what have you. If you have questions, you're going to have a narrow window of time to ask those questions. Okay, and again, you want to direct the questions back to the purchaser. Next. Hub reports. This one, I think I left the detail in here. But again, we just published semi-annual report. We do this twice a year. Next slide. And you'll find us on our website under state purchasing, the hub program, and then hub reporting. Go take a look at detail by object code. Next. Next slide. And in this example, what we're looking at is architectural and engineering services, which is object code 7256. That's different from the Class 9 codes. These are expense codes. Next. So 7256, we're going to take a look at Texas Department of Transportation spend, and this is for fiscal year 13. So they spent a total of $359 million and 82.6 million with hubs on this particular object code. Next. So you want to know which vendors did they spend that money with. So I'm going to type in that 7256 up in the find. Next. And now you'll have a list of those vendors. You will see where it says hub. It will give the designation, whether that was a Hispanic, Asian, woman-owned, so forth. But basically, you could use this, what I'm getting at, you can use this information and see these companies that are bidding on this agency's work and start reaching out to them. Potential subcontracting opportunities, potential mentor-protege relationships, so forth. That's how you use this information. Next. So, that I'm not too long-winded here, okay? But everything that you see there, you're going to find in the brochure. The ESBD, CMBL, Hub Coordinator Contact List, okay? Everything you see there, you will find here, all right?
No, we'll take questions at the end. Paul, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cool. Mr. Miller, here you are. That would be you, Texas Department of Transportation. We're going to talk about how things are moving here in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
He said yes, he is. He's going to talk about business opportunities. Texas Department of Transportation. No. Texas Department of Transportation, also known as
TxDOT. Good morning, everyone. At this point, I guess they put me in at the seven inning stretch, so I would like everyone to stand up and stretch. And while you're standing, put your right hand on the person's shoulder in front of you. Shoulder. Now give him a great pat on the back. All right. Thank you very much. We do that at church, and it makes me nervous, and I figure I'll get a chance to do it to someone else. Thank you very much. Another good point is make sure you give your card to someone you don't know before you leave today. That's real important. because you're doing business, everybody's doing business, so do business with one another also. Key point. One of the big, before my presentation, oh, by the way, that's not my baby, okay? My baby is 14 years old, so that's not her. Everybody always asks me about that. One of the biggest things on the serious side, safety is a big deal with TxDOT. The legislature, they came out and gave us an opportunity to protect our people that work in the right-of-way in construction. And now we have blue lights, and so when you see those blue lights flashing, make sure you slow down. Also in construction zones, we have rumble strips. They're usually about 1,000, 1,500 feet away from the actual construction site. So when you run over there, those rumble strips, make sure you slow down. That's just to help us out. Last week, we lost an employee in a construction zone in the Lubbock district area. And so that's a real sad thing for the TxDOT family. Okay, just an overview of TxDOT. Our annual budget is about $19 billion. We cover the whole state. My area here I cover Houston. I have 27 counties that I cover, from Houston to Bryan to Beaumont to Lufkin, of course, and we support the Galveston Ferry. Just the East region or branch, we spend about $500 million on commodities. We manage about 500 contracts. My contract administrator, Bill, she's sitting there, and she keeps me straight. So we have over 500 contracts for goods and services that service the East area. The organization structure right now, we reorganize again. We're getting ready to welcome our new executive director. He's a 3-star Marine Lieutenant General. So we know we're going to start doing PT every Monday morning, running 5 miles for our ex-Marines out there. So we're going to get physically fit as well as financially fit. So we cover, we have 500 contracts, like I said before. We spend about $19 billion. We have over $5 billion of construction going on right now here in the Houston area. One of the guys called me a couple of weeks ago and said, "There's construction going on 290. How do I get a piece of that?" I said, "It's too late. If you see the dirt turning, it's too late." Now what we do, we have meetings throughout the community here in Houston and the other areas, districts. And so when you look at those and when you have an opportunity to attend one of those, make sure you do so. Outreach activity, we have an Office of Civil Rights in Austin, and I support them. That's why I'm here today. And we cover the whole state. We work hand in hand with Paul. We're with Paul Gibson, and what he was talking about, when you go in there and you get all that information, we call it spin analysis. So go in there and see who the state is doing business with, and then try to partner with them. Opportunities here in Houston. Right now, we're actually doing a cafeteria solicitation at RRP. And so if you're in the business of providing restaurant services, that solicitation is coming out. My number, 713-802-5673. And call and talk to me about that if you're in the business. And then we do have, you can go to our website, it's TxDOT.gov, and you can find out all the bidding opportunities that's going on in the state. You can even look at the information on past bids, and that will help you determine what your price is going to be if you want to be competitive. So we have, I call it open seas. So anyway, that's just a slight overview of our process, and we look forward to you guys coming out and visiting with me or my staff and conducting business with TxDOT. Thank you very much.
So, can you go back to that slide again? Let me see. Hold on. The next photo. Okay. No. I think that's you. But anyway. Yeah. Don't call the Attorney General. We'll call you. Collecting child support, guy. All right. Mr. Snell, who are you with?
I'm with the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, not to be confused with TxDOT.
So you're talking about doing business with the Department of Motor Vehicles. Give a round of applause.
I'm in Fred now with the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. As I stated, we are not the Department of Transportation. We may be in their buildings, but we're not transportation. We may be on the IT system, but we're not TxDOT. And if you would like to do business with TxDOT and have a hard time getting a hold of them, you can email me and I'll ensure you get a hold to TxDOT. One of the things that Paul and Lisa talked about was the websites and the vendors that's on there. I want to talk to you a little bit about your name is on the CMBL, you on DIR, but how do you get the agents to recognize you? Because, like Paul said, over 150 under just one class code. The key is to get a hold of that hub coordinator at that particular agency you want to visit and ask them to have an in-house meeting with them. Because you got your name out there, but you got to hit the face. And so when you have these in-house meetings and they get to know your capabilities, sure, you can go to these events, you can give them your card, you can give them your capabilities, but sometimes that's where it stops. And I want to encourage you to contact the hub coordinator. One of the things I do is I bring in hubs, and I also bring in a couple more state agencies who might be interested so that you can come in and have a one-on-one with several different state agencies. The DMV, oh, by the way, before I go, I did a survey of all the cars out there, and I've seen 3 vehicles who need to be registered.
You better leave before he gets out the door.
I'm not going to tell the license plate, but you know who you are. One of the things we're doing is...
You got too much time on your head, I'm just saying, we need to get you a hobby.
Hey, man, every time I see their name, I got one more day to work. So you keep me in work. One of the things that DMV is doing is separating from TxDOT, IT. And currently we are in the process of trying to make that happen. After we separate, then we're going to start building that system. We have 16 districts, and eventually they will, all 254 counties going to tie into this system. We're also going to be hopefully moving out of TxDOT buildings to have our own buildings. And so we're going to have a lot of construction coming down the line. Right now we're looking for armored car carriers in El Paso and several other of the regions. So if you're into armored car services, we're going to be looking at that. But right now our major focus is on the IT. And like I say, it's a lot going on. And a lot going to be going on. They said it's a 5-year plan to build that system. They're saying that even the driver licenses is going to come on us soon. So we have a lot ahead of us, and I want to encourage you to please, if you want to talk to certain agencies, contact the hub coordinator. It's good to have your name on the CMBL, because that's where we go. But then when we get to that commodity cause and we got 50 agencies to choose, they will come and contact the hub coordinator. Do you know a vendor, a hub vendor, that you can recommend? I said, sure, this person came in and remember we met with him? Because what I do, I have at least the purchaser there. that does that type of business. And so the purchase is there, and we communicate, and we'll contact them. Now, what the DMV is, anything $50,000 and above have to have an HSP. In other words, they have to try to go after a hub, even 50,000 and above. And so we want to encourage you, I know my time is short, but we want to encourage you to talk to the agencies. Because once your name get up there, you stop. That's just the beginning. And I want to encourage you, if you can't get a hold of anybody, email me, and I'll make sure you get a hold of that agency. Thank you.
Great job, great job, great job. Now, what if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, and then make sure that tax is up to date, or to pull up to the office? How would they get in touch with you?
Well, the best way to email me, fred.steele@txdmv.gov. And I will definitely get back to you, because I got a phone with me, and I check the emails continually.
Great, thank you very much, thank you very much. Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I know that sounds kind of frightening to some, because I definitely don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to Norwich, but this is what about doing business with the TDCJ, correct? A lot of opportunities with TDCJ, right? Everybody welcome Sharon Schultz with TDCJ.
Good morning. And all I provide is still morning, it's not afternoon yet. I'd like to thank you first of all for inviting us to be here today. We always enjoy coming to Houston. It's such a great audience, and there's a lot of opportunity there because there's not a lot of the businesses that are as well versed in the Houston area on how to do business with the state. I'm Sharon Schultz, and they did misspell my name. There's a C in it. And that's only important if you're going to email me, because you have to have the C in there for it to get there. I'm the hub director for the agency. I've been with the agency and the hub program for over 16 years, so I know a little bit about it. And a lot of what you've already heard here from Paul and Lisa and Fred, even some of the tech staff, even though they do business a little bit differently in some areas, that's how TDCJ does business for the most part. We are, like I said, a state agency, so we utilize appropriated funds through our legislature. So we are tasked with spending those as in accordance with state rules, laws, and legislation. The HUB program in our agency it does the same thing the HUB programs and all the other agencies do, is to make sure that we make a good faith effort within our agency to utilize HUBs. And I think Paul went over what is inclusive of the HUB category for the state agencies. TDCJ does a lot of business, and we do a lot of business shows where people come up to us and they're like, well, what are y'all here for? We are the state prison system, and we're spread out all over the state of Texas. We've got about 120 units, 160,000 inmates, and 40,000 employees. We have to support our employee population as well as our inmate population. We buy a lot of stuff, office supplies to guns, grenades, whatever we need. Some of that's fun, some's not. But that's why we attend these shows. We are, like I said, supported by state appropriation, so it's your tax dollars, my tax dollars, and we feel that they need to be spent with Texas businesses. I mean, it's your money. So we're out here trying to educate the public on how to do business with the state agencies, how to find those contracts and those opportunities that are out there, and try to limit some of the being petrified about going up and doing such a big contract or working within a contract within the state agencies. It can be a little scary and daunting. I highly recommend a lot of the times, and I know you've heard a little bit about it on the city side, about the pre-proposal, pre-bid conferences. I can't stress that enough. We do a lot of high-dollar construction contracts, where we have a lot of opportunity to work more closely with our vendors on those contracts. Construction contracts are bid a little bit differently when you're dealing with a state agency, and such that the agency puts them out for bid, the agency does the pre-proposal pre-bid conferences, the agency makes the awards on them. When we do our pre-bids and our pre-proposals, we usually have them at the unit or location where the work's to be done so that the vendors can see the site and make a determination when they are doing their bidding process on exactly how much it will take to do that. They can bring subcontractors out there, people they're thinking about subcontracting with, to also do that. We go through the paperwork, and I know Fred mentioned the HUB subcontracting plan where vendors have to be identified as far as who the primes will be using for their subcontractors. That's where the primes have to make a good faith effort to do business with HUB certified businesses. And on those is where we highly, highly stress trying to get our HUB businesses out there as subcontractors. Either myself or my HUB coordinator, and we are located in Huntsville. We're not headquartered in Austin like most of the state agencies. So we travel to those units. We do all of the pre-proposal conferences, and those are for bids that are over $100,000 with our agency, which is required by law for the HUB subcontracting plans to be done. We encourage those HUBs to come out to those pre-proposals because there are unlimited opportunities to meet with those primes, and you can't call me on the phone and say, who's your prime? Because we don't do business like that. Some of the other agencies do that have federal funding supplied because the federal government requires a different process. But in the state procurement, we don't know who our primes are going to be until we open those bids. And so we highly recommend you come out to the pre-proposal conference, whether you are up there to subcontract as far as supplies, commodities, those are recognized as subcontracting opportunities by the state. Supplies, commodities, services, anything that prime cannot do for that contract, they have to subcontract it out. They have to recognize that opportunity in their HUB subcontracting plan, and they have to name the HUB that they will be doing, or the non-HUB that they will be doing the business with. However, now with the new HUB subcontracting plans, if those businesses will choose to do business with the HUBs and either do all their subcontracting with HUB companies or meet or exceed the goal that's applied to that HUB category on that specific contract, then they don't have to go out and do the solicitation process because they've met their good faith effort up front. So it makes it a lot easier for a prime contractor to be able to complete a HUB subcontracting plan that's approvable. And I say approvable, I don't know that's a real word, but when we open our bids, the first thing we evaluate is the HUB subcontracting plan. So if we feel that a vendor has not made a good faith effort in completing that plan, or if they do not submit one at all, then their bid is automatically rejected. So we are very stringent in that, as with most of the state agencies, are the same way with their HUB plans. If a good faith effort is not made, that bid is no longer considered. With the state of Texas, what some vendors and contractors don't understand is that the HUB program in the state of Texas is not a set-aside program. It's a competitive program. So we can't do business as an agency with HUBs just because we want to. We have to help them grow and be able to do business in a competitive manner. And there is a misnomer out there, and I'll say especially with TDCJ, companies won't bid on our contracts because they feel the big companies are going to get them. Well, a lot of times the big companies don't bid our contracts. The big companies are out there looking in the big world, the corporate world and all, and they're not too concerned about a state agency that they probably think we don't spend a whole lot of money yet. And we do spend a lot of money in a lot of our things, multi-million-dollar contracts on our construction stuff. We have to feed inmates and food and clothing. We have several different industries within our agency where we make things. So we buy products and things to make those things with. So we do spend a lot of money. We buy a lot of stuff. And don't take it for fact that somebody else is getting those because they're a bigger company and they can do better at bidding. That's rarely the case. We invite you, again, like I said, come out to those pre-proposals. I just can't stress that enough. The opportunities are there not only for our contracts, but those prime vendors, and some of them are hubs. We do quite a lot of prime contracting with hubs. But those businesses are looking for you to subcontract with so that they can do a shorter process and have an easier time on getting their hub subcontracting plan acceptable. So come there, we'll introduce you, we'll let you bring business cards and hand them out so you can make contacts with those prime bidders for all the contracts that they do. We have a lot in the Houston area that will actually call me and ask me, do you know any hubs in these particular areas? Because they're not only bidding our contracts, but other contracts. And one other thing I want to leave you with is we do have a table out front, and we have lots and lots of handouts. A lot of it was what Paul talked about as far as the ESPD, the CNBL, the hub certification, the DIR information. We have a lot of information in there. We have a listing of all of our purchasers, what they purchased, their phone numbers, their email addresses, so you get in touch with them. Fred brought up talking to the state agencies. We do set up through the HUB program at our agency presentation schedules so vendors can come in and speak with the specific purchasers that purchase the product or service that they sell. So we set up times that's good for everyone to come, since you do have to come to Huntsville for that, which is great coming to Huntsville. We do have out there a copy of what is currently posted for TDCJ on the Electronic State Business Daily that Paul touched on. It's where all the bids that we have that are in excess of 25,000 are posted. All state agencies post on there. So I brought a copy of what we currently have out there. It changes daily. So don't think that just because this is out there, that's all we have. And you'll see it's all kinds of stuff. There's even like bulls. Somebody asked me, do y'all have bulls? Yeah, we do.
No bull, right?
No bull, we buy bulls. I also have upcoming construction contracts. These are what are going to be coming out in the near future. Like I said, we do lots of construction contracts. And one thing that I've been pushing, especially in Houston in the last couple of years, is our need for fire alarm systems and vendors and subcontractors in the fire alarm area. So if you do any kind of services or products dealing with fire alarm systems, we're renovating all of our units, and we need vendors for those.
Great, that's great. No, I was just thinking, maybe some of the penalties, if some of the folks don't make a good faith efforts and the goals, maybe they should become clients of TDCJ. No, okay.
I don't think we have enough room for them all.
Thank you very much, Sharon. She'll be around to answer questions. And before we run up our last but not least presenter, I want to recognize Mr. Oscar Payton, who's the CEO of Payton's Blend. He provides the coffee. Is Oscar there? Maybe not, maybe not. Oh, there he is right there. There's Oscar right there. Coffee guys. And Miss Shannon Lucas. Is Shannon here? Shannon, she's the owner and chef of the Organic Sweet Shop, and so she's up all night making those donuts for us. So last but not least is Miss Valerie Coleman, who pretty much needs no introduction. And as soon as they get her presentation up, this is federal government presentation. Valerie, come on over. If you want to know how to do business with the federal government, you ought to run. Now, how long have you been with the federal government?
41 years.
41 years.
I started when I was 1.
Okay. Valerie Coleman, who started when she was 1.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I do not like podiums. Everybody knows that, so I walk around. So you've got some great information about HISD, about the city, about the state, everybody else. I'm with the federal government, forget everything. Because we're the big boys. We do everything a little bit different. So while I'm representing SBA's Office of Government Contracting, I'm going to talk to you about how to do business with the federal government in general. I'm sorry, you know I moved, don't you? Okay, Tico, can you go down to the next slide? So one of the things that's happening is we do in the federal government last fiscal year, and our fiscal year runs October 1st through September 30th. So we are about 6 months into our fiscal year. We did over $550 billion last year with the federal government. And what did we buy? We buy everything. We are the world's largest customer. And we have a goal that we want to do 23% of small business. Now, 23% may not sound like a whole lot, but 23% of $550 billion is a whole lot. Now, have we ever met that goal? No, except last year, for the first time. And we're still going through the numbers, but it looks like we met our 23%. And as soon as Congress found out we met our 23%, they said, good, we're going to raise the goal to 25%. So, you know, but we'll see what happens with that. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because I get calls all the time, and just to let you know, I work for SBA, and outside the area here is the SBA district office located on Gessner, or the IRS building. Everyone knows that. And so we have our folks that handle the AA certification program. My Office of Government Contracting is out of Fort Worth. I have a posted duty station at Johnson Space Center. So that's where my office is located, and I'm actually up in the Director of Procurement's office. So I sit up with all the bigwigs that deal with government contracting. I handle, just so that you know, while I sit at Johnson Space Center, I also handle the Galveston Corps of Engineers, the Corpus Christi Army Depot, the Houston VA, the 2 VAs in Oklahoma, the 2 VAs in Arkansas, and the 3 VAs in Louisiana. What happens is, if David, they give me something and they say, we want it to go full and open. Full and open in the federal government means everybody's going to bid against each other. Anything that does not go to small business has to come to me for me to concur on. If I don't concur, I stop the whole thing. And just 2 weeks ago, I had two $2 million procurements that different agencies wanted to go full and open. I said, absolutely not. One of the agencies says, what happens if we don't agree with you? You don't want to do that. So, and they said, really, what happens? I said, I put a stop to it, and it gets sent up to Washington for your headquarters and my headquarters to work it out. And they went, okay. And they pulled both of them and made them both small business set-asides. So that's what I do. Every agency has a forecast. You can go to any agency website and get a copy of the forecast. Now the forecast is kind of their dream list. If we get our budget, this is what we're going to spend the money on. Now, just to let you know, I said our fiscal year starts October 1st. In the 41 years I've worked for the federal government, I have seen a budget on October 1st one time. We just got our federal budget, like within the last 45 days. So you might not have seen a whole lot of federal procurements out there because we didn't know how much money we were going to have to spend. So every agency has a forecast. Now, when you go into the forecast, whether it's NASA, whether it's Department of the Army, whoever you're going into, it will tell you whether it's already been made a set-aside of some type, whether it's full and open, or it may say TBD, to be determined. This is where we need your help to get it set aside for small business. And I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of how to do that because our next several workshops that we're going to be having up to GPC 2015 are going to be talking about that. But if you can look on the forecast, you don't need to call anyone and say, what does NASA have available out there? What is the Galveston Corps doing? What is the IRS doing? Because it's going to be listed. One of the things that you can do, if you see that website, fbo.gov, any solicitation that the federal government is putting out over $25,000 by law has to be posted to that website. So you can go to that website and find out what's going on. Now, just to let you know, if you've never done business with the who has never done business with the federal government? How many of you would like to do business with the federal government? Oh, come on, guys, I'm up here at 16 people, I'm last. Who would like to do business with the federal government? Thank you. Okay. I'm going to make this really easy for you. I have 12 steps on how to do that. You send me an email, and I will send you the 12 steps. There are some databases you need to register on, but here's the thing about FedBizOps. Once you're registered on this and you hot link over, we automatically send you the solicitations. You don't even have to go search for them. So if you want the 12 steps, you send me an email. Do not say, Valerie, it was so nice to see you at the GPC workshop. I so enjoyed your speech. I don't need to hear that. Just put in the subject matter, 12 steps. That's all you have to say. 12 steps. I know what you want. Okay? Let me make this easy on you. Every federal agency has a small business specialist. Your brother's uncle's aunt who used to work at NASA is not the person you call about government contract, because they probably don't know. By law, every federal agency has to have a small business specialist. This is your point of contact to that agency. That's great, Valerie, but how do we know who the small business specialists are? I have a list. We cover in our area 6 states: Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Louisiana. I have a listing here, and it was just updated in February, so it's not old, outdated federal government stuff. It's updated. It is a listing of every federal agency in those 6 states with the small business point of contact, with their direct phone number and their direct email. Email is what they prefer. If you want this list, you can send me an email. And in the subject line, thank you, list. If you want the list and the 12 steps, what do you put in the subject line? 12 steps list. Great. See, I don't need to see all that other stuff. Now, let's say you don't want to do business with the federal government yet, you're not ready to be a prime contractor, you want to do some subcontract work. Well, you heard about subcontracting plans just a minute ago. In the federal government, any large, well, we can't call them large. You know, I've been there 41 years, I still say large. Other than small. Okay. That's what I'm supposed to say. So any other than small business that gets a federal contract over $650,000 or $1.5 million in construction, and there are subcontracting opportunities, they have to do a small business subcontracting plan back to that agency on how they're going to work with small business. And that includes small business and then woman-owned, HUBZone certified, don't get it confused with State of Texas Hub, totally different. HUBZone certified, small disadvantaged business, we do not use the term minority in the federal government, we use disadvantaged because you do not have to be of an ethnic background to be disadvantaged. Veteran-owned, service-connected disabled vet. My job, one of the other hats that I wear, and everyone in here wears multiple hats, the only other hats that I wear is I go out and monitor them for compliance to make sure they're working with you like they should be, and how they told the federal government they would. And I rate them and how well they perform. My territory is here over to the Louisiana border, up to Lufkin, over to College Station, and then all the way down to Mexico. This is all me. If you would like to know who that small business point of contact is for those prime contractors, guess what I have? I have a list of all of them. Now, on this list, you're going to see Boeing, Lockheed, United Space Alliance, Chevron, Shell, Conoco, Phillips 66, MD Anderson, Baylor, Toshiba, Waste Management, Centerpoint, Reliant. All of these are companies I monitor and I rate on how well they perform. Okay? Point of contact here, I just updated it 2 days ago. If you want this, and you want this, don't say list, say listings. Then I know you want both. okay? So this is going to get you started. We have money in the federal government. Years ago when we had economic stuff, we still had money in the federal government. We want you to work with us. The more small businesses we get, the better it is for us, okay? My passion is small business. I love you guys. I couldn't do it for the life of me. I'm much better doing my job. So if you want the listings, if you want this, you can send me an email. I'll give you my business card before we leave. I've been doing registration, stop, get my business card, send me an email, and when I get back to the office, and it'll be Monday, because my little son just barely got a job. And so we're going to San Antonio to find a place. He had an internship with Valero headquarters. At least that's what he said. Anyway, so I won't be back in the office till Monday. So if you send it, I will be back this afternoon. So if you send it to me real quick, you'll get it this afternoon. If not, it's going to be Monday. Okay? Huh? You can send it through the app. Yeah. You can send it directly. However you want to do it, just get in touch with me. Okay? Thank you all.
Yeah. Isn't that a proud mama, huh? I think she's more happy about maybe getting her money back. You know? I think probably all owe some dollars back. But anyway, we're getting ready to finish so you can network. And first of all, does anyone have any questions? We've got some folks about, someone has a question. Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Come on up here. Please. Come on. If anyone has any other questions, come on up. Yes.
Hi, I came in a little late. I just need to know, what is the name of the app that everyone has been talking about?
Raynice. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to ask Pico to come in and close us out, and then we can go on network. Pico.
Thank you, everybody, for sticking around now. Is this what you had hoped it would be today? I want to take a moment to thank my awesome planning committee. I know I did all the credit, but they really did all the work. Valerie, Sharonda, Bernice, Roger, John, Sandy. If I missed you, I apologize, but we've got the whole roster, Bernard, Will. This is a collective effort opportunity, so thank you very much. And thank you very much. So in closing, I want to ask you all, please make sure you stay tuned to the website, download the mobile app. We're going to be doing a couple more quarterly events and engaging you more in maybe in our own matchmaking. So the way you're going to stay in the know is to download the app. And with that, thank you very much. Oh, one more thing.
Please, make sure you fill out this form, just the top half, just the very top, and sign it at the bottom, and you can bring it out and give it to Dr. Bradford. But please, fill it out. And thank you all the resource agencies, as you mentioned, and let's party, let's network.